What's up, Jacob? How old are you?
I'm 18.
Nice. What year are you born in?
2006,
Okay, what month?
July.
Do you support that train wreck of a President Trump?
I do.
Okay. Peyton, thank you for the $8 over on Venmo. Very kind of you. As well, Stephanie, thank you for the $10. Can I ask her how she can support Trump as a believer of her faith? Ah, fuck. I should have asked her, man. And then Aaliyah, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo, saying I'm still learning a lot about politics and I love watching your streams. That's awesome, Aaliyah. Thank you for the donation. She went private. Good. That's great. Take it away, Jacob. Tell us why you support Trump.
All right. So I basically just work all the time. I don't have a lot of time to just sit and look into everything and read into everything. So I just kind of focus on what affects me personally. And one big thing, it was a promise made by President Trump before he got elected,
Uh
and that
huh.
was the big beautiful budget bill.
Uh huh.
And I've been watching that, and just saw probably you probably saw that it got passed a couple days ago.
To the
Um,
house. Yeah.
through the House. It went through the Senate first, though, and so it's
Oh,
officially
damn!
passed.
It
So now
did.
it did,
Oh fuck. Okay, go ahead.
yeah.
Unfortunate.
And then it,
You're fucked, man. I'm fucked. We're both fucked. Everybody's fucked.
okay, no, what? Okay,
We're all fucked. So the center on budget and policy priorities, they talk about this bill a lot. They talk about how it cuts and guts $1.2 trillion from Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security, and two, it adds $3.8 trillion to the deficit. That's almost as much as every dollar spent in the last 4 years by Biden and Harris. And three, it reduces the after-tax income of 80% of Americans. The bottom 20% of income earners in America are going to lose $2,200 of after-tax income per year. The second 20% will lose $1,700. The middle 20% will lose $1,600, and the fourth 20% will lose $1,400. Meanwhile, the top 20% would gain $250 in after-tax income, and the top 1% would gain $25,000 a year in after-tax income. All right, that is one of the largest redistributions of wealth from the poor to the rich that we've seen in the entirety of American history.
how does that affect the rich?
By did,
How does that? Did you read the bill?
by giving them an additional 25,000.
It doesn't affect the rich. It affects people that, if you read into it and you look at it's also
Wait, wait,
under
wait, wait.
right
You
under
wait,
the.
wait, wait. You just told me that you don't have enough time to research these things. You're telling me that you've read
I
a
said I
thousand.
said I look into the stuff
You,
that
you're you're
affects me
you're
personally,
telling
not everything
so
else.
so you've read this 1,000-page bill.
I've read multiple pages of it, the
Okay.
stuff that affects me,
Yeah,
because
I
it
just
says
well, I look at
family.
so I don't. I haven't
I
had the
don't,
time to read all 1,000 pages. That's
okay,
why
I didn't
I
say I
rely
read.
on institutions such as the
I
Center on
said a
Budget and
couple
Policy
pages of it.
Priorities to categorize all of the addendums and cuts and facts of the bill. And yeah, they say that it redistributes wealth from the poor to the rich, and 80% of American income earners lose money.
I okay. Well, I haven't even made a couple points yet. Um, basically, overtime. If you see that, there's a if you look at who gets the effects, if you make a certain amount of money, I believe it's like 30,000. If you make less than 30,000, it doesn't affect you, and if you make over 80,000, it doesn't affect you.
What are you
So,
specifically talking about?
no tax on overtime.
Okay, well, no tax on overtime is applicable to individuals doing under $160,000 per year, and you still get taxed on
That's
overtime. It's
not
just a
true.
tax deduction. That's a wording of the bill. And then B, yeah, that's one section. When we look at all
I
1,000
mean, I read the bill, and
when we look at
uh,
all 1,000 pages, okay, and we consider everything in the bill, your after-tax income is still going to be cut.
okay. Also, tips, cash tips, just cash, not electronic tips. If you get a cash tip, you can pocket it, and you don't have to report the tax to your employer. My girlfriend works. She is a server. She makes a lot of tips. It is nice to
So
not
that's
have to.
that's also not true. You still
That
have
is
to
true.
declare and report it, but people not declaring and reporting cash tips is already a
Okay,
thing.
but you okay, you
It
have to
happens
report
now.
all the money you made. Yes, you're right. You have to report all money you make, but taxes will not be taken out of cash tips.
Okay, well, I think that already for a lot of service workers, they don't report their cash tips.
That's illegal.
And then B, it is the case that once again, when we consider the totality of the impact of the BBB, it is the case that still yet it
Okay. Well,
reduces the
I have a
after-tax income of 80% of Americans. I don't know why I have to keep on reporting. I don't know why I have to keep on repeating that. I wish that you would listen to me the first time I said it. I understand that you could point out parts of the bill in which seem to benefit the average American. However, when we would consider the totality of the impact of all 1,200 pages of the bill, it is the case that your after tax income still goes down. And that's a fact as reported, once again, by the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. Now, if you want to give a differing alternative source like the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, and which has meticulously studied all 1,200 pages of the bill to determine what the net impact will be for the average American, feel free to do that. But it is not an incorrect way of rebuttaling what I'm saying is to point out no tax on overtime and tips, because guess what? The Center on Budget and Policy Priorities made those considerations.
okay. Well, I read into the bill and I disagree on the money you said. Um,
You can't. Like, in order for you to disagree, you'd have to provide an alternative source that is also considered all 1,000 pages of the bill. Like, imagine
okay.
this. Imagine this. Like,
I don't
imagine that we were to flip a quarter 1,000 times. All
look
right.
up the bill and read it. Just look up the bill and read it,
I
and
would.
find
Can
me
you like
where.
try to follow along with what I'm saying here? Imagine that we flipped a quarter 1,000 times, okay? And 900 out of the 1,000 times, it landed on tails. Then 100 out of 1,000 times, it landed on heads. I say, when we consider all of the coin flips, the average coin flip was tails, right? Would it be a valid response for you to say, well, when we look at some of the coin flips, they were heads? Or
Yeah.
can those two things be true at once? Okay, those two things can be true at once. Okay, so when we look at the net impact of the bill, what's going on, Parker? When we see that the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities has indicated that the net impact of the bill will reduce the after tax income for 80% of Americans, you just simply pointing out particular things that in a vacuum would benefit the average American is not a sufficient response, because we're not speaking in a vacuum of very particular sections of the bill. We're talking about the net total impact of the legislation.
All right. I mean, I'll look into it more, and I'll do my own research on the net impact of the bill. I just saw that. I mean, I have a 1-year-old daughter, and I saw that it directly impacts me and my girlfriend because I work a lot of overtime.
Okay, man.
And
I've already explained this to you five
I know,
times.
and I just disagree with you said because I literally read exactly the
I'm
exact
so do you see this
money you have to make.
do you see this table in front of me?
Yes.
Do you know what I want to do right now? I want to take my headset off and I want to bang my head into this table
Okay. Look up the
Oh,
bill.
oh,
Can you look up
that's
the
how
five,
bill?
today's been
six,
going.
or seven
Hey,
times. And the
why don't you look up
reason
the bill? We've been arguing
and the
about it this
reason
whole
I want
time.
to
You can.
bang my head into this table 5, 6, or 7 times is because you are so insufferable. The
So why are
reason
you
I
avoiding looking up the bill? You have a
You
computer
know
in
what? I
front of
bet.
you.
I
You
bet.
just said it.
I bet. You know what's kind of crazy? I just randomly came in here, no context. I know Dean is 100% fucking right. The same
And you
shit
have no
happened to me yesterday. I'm
common
not
sense.
trolling. I had like two of the most insufferable people I've talked to.
Barker,
I've been
it's
so
been
nice to people, and they sent me off the edge, bro.
How am I
it's been
being
pretty
mean?
bad all day. It's just I've been kind of keeping my cool for the most part. You know what, Jacob? Let's see if you could keep up. Can you repeat my argument? I just want to make sure you understand where I'm coming from.
Yes, you said the overtime you have to be in the tax bracket of making $160,000 a year.
So that was a very small, insignificant sub argument. It was just saying that all overtime under for individuals that make less than $160,000 per year can be deducted at the end of the year. But that was a very small sub argument. Do you remember the
I
big
know that's
argument
the
that I
argument I was
repeated?
focused on because that's the direct rebuttal of the point I was trying to make the
Oh,
whole
okay.
time.
So you weren't focused on the other thing that I repeated 7 times? Okay, I'll repeat it an eighth time, but this is going to be the last time. Is that fair? Can you tell me that's fair, just so I don't lose my mind?
Okay, that's fair.
Okay. When we examine the total net impact of all provisions
Okay,
included
yes, the net
in
impact. Yes, sorry.
the 1,200 page bill, it is the case that the total net impact is negative for the average American. We understand that there's some positives, like no tax on tips or overtimes, as you're defining. That's fine. But there's more negatives than there is positives, which leads to that total net negative impact. Now, my source for this claim is the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. Okay, because the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities has meticulously examined every word of all 1,200 pages of the BBB, and that is the conclusion they've came to. Now, if you want to challenge this conclusion, you'll just merely have to look for other institutions or groups of people that have examined the totality of the bill that would offer a different conclusion on the totality of the bill. But you talking about particular subsections of the bill does not do the trick. Your 2 pages do not combat what the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities has reported. The analogy I gave was saying that we flip a coin 1,000 times, 950 out of the 1,000 times it lands tails, the remaining 50 times it lands head. This is like me saying the total average coin flip was tails. And then you respond by saying, well, 50 times it landed heads. Okay, well, it could land heads 50 times, but still yet the average coin flip would be tails. Just like you could have a few things that benefit you, but the total net impact of the bill is still negative. Do you understand what I'm saying? And if so, can you respond?
Okay, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'd just like to know what sources did you read? I'd just like to do my own research. That's all I'm asking. I want to know what sources you were reading that shows the total, other than the bill, because you admitted you didn't read the 1,000-page bill, which I
Yeah.
know I didn't read all
So
1,000
this
pages.
is the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities.
Okay. And then who was that posted by?
The Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. The institution itself posted its report.
Okay. All right. And then the last thing, really quick, the last benefit was more tax relief on children. So,
Oh, yeah,
uh,
yeah. Increasing the child tax credit, guess what? Would have had higher cuts if you voted for Kamala Harris.
um, do what? What about higher cuts?
There was more tax relief for kids under Kamala Harris's tax plan.
Yeah, she advocated for $6,000 first year of a child's life, $3,600 through them being 5 years old, and $3,000 through them being 18.
And also, I just got to thank a couple people real quick. Godzilla, thank you so much for the $50 super chat over on YouTube. Let's get 500 Godzilla W's. Thank you so much for the love, Godzilla. That is so incredibly kind of you. As well as Jay with a $100 super chat over on YouTube. Jay, my man, says, roses are red, violets are blue. A toast to the beast of debaters. That's you. Oh! A poet, Jay. I love you. That's so kind. Everybody, let's get 1,000 JWs. Thank you for the $100, bro. That is quite frankly fucking nuts. Thank you so much, Jay and Godzilla. Incredibly kind of you both. I'd also like to thank Brian for the $5 over on PayPal, Nicole with a $1, and Ariel and Melissa with the $20 each. Ariel says, gift. Thank you for the $20, Ariel. Shout out to Ariel. That is Ariel, as well as Melissa with a $20 saying, keep it up, Melissa. I will indeed keep it up. Thank you for the $20, Ariel. Thank you for the $20, Melissa. Thank you for the $100, Jay. Holy fuck. Once again, insane. And the $50, Godzilla, once again, nuts. Guys, thank you so much for the love. And I'm sorry if I'm not giving the donations the excitement they deserve. I am tired. It has been a long day.
How long have
Let
you
me
been
tell you.
live?
Oh, a little over 4 hours.
A little over 4.
Yeah.
Nice.
So take it away, Jacob.
That's all. That's all I had. I'll do the research.
Okay. Bye,
Look into it
Jacob.
more.
Parker, would you like a raid? I'm ending, and I'm going to go cry. Just kidding. I'm not going to cry. That's going to get clipped, and the whole comment section is going to be filled
No
with
tears.
Connors
No
and
tears.
Timothy's calling me a soy boy.
Yes, I absolutely will. I absolutely will.
Phenomenal. What account do you want to go live on? Oh, by the way, do you remember that guy that came up into your live and was asking if you're attracted to trans women?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he came up into my live today, and he called you gay. And then he said that the definition of homosexuality was being attracted to the same sex. I then asked him if he would be gay if he wanted to give Buck Angel back shots, and to which he responded yes. And he got destroyed. So just know that this person that has been targeting you for whatever reason and being an asshole got clocked.
That's funny. That's funny. I appreciate you, bro. All right, I'm about to go live.
Of course, have a good one.
Appreciate you,
Everybody,
man.
go show some love to Parker. Go show some love to Parker. He's going to be live on @ParkerGetAJob on YouTube and TikTok.